Oh, it says I'm live, so I am here. 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 I could not decide what I wanted to do today. I want to get some more stuff done on my adventure quilt. So I decided that it's time to do some. It's time to do the trimming and binding. Anyway, hello. Hello to anybody who's wandering in. There's my. This is my one of my schmanciest rulers. So I'll be using that today. Hey, Nana B, how you doing? I am I've got 6 of these done now. So I'm just trimming them. I'm going to trim them today. I don't think I showed you you see, I know I showed this one. Let me start showing what I've already got while people come wandering in. So I've got, basically these are, I just need to now square these off to 20 by 20 inches. So I got this one, where that one came in from. I've got this one. None of these actually have an upside right and an upside down. So I've got that one of those, got a couple of patches on it. Let's see, this, I am like 95% certain I've shown all of these before. That one with some rando and some stuff. I know I've shown this one. This one's really simple. I've got, yeah, that's a new one. That's the new one. I took this one only has the 4. This one only has the 4 on it, and I might come back in and intentionally like maybe put that on the middle or something. I haven't decided yet, but I can do that even after it's completely done. So I've got that one. That's new. And I've got this one. This one's pretty basic. This one's going to be getting bound on 3 sides because I've got that, this, and then that. But that had a couple of, that had that one on it. Well, today is not that busy. Today, I just have to trim these. But basically, I made sure that I went over 20 by 20 on all of these. So now I just have to trim everything. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6. I've got 6 done. I'm going to trim these down to 20 by 20, and then I just have to add the last one. But yeah, all I'm doing with these is I just do that. I'm just lining. Well, I don't even have to line this up here. I'm just going to lay it out. I'm just going to lay it down. Because this is a 20.5 inch. This is 20.5 inches by 20.5 inches. Because if I'm doing regular piecing and I do the full 20.5, that gives me 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around on both sides. I'm sure lots of people know what that means. Today I don't want to work too hard or try too hard. I think everybody knows by now that we lost Bruno on Friday. So it's like, I just want to be brainless today. And what could be more brainless than just dealing with trim? So this is pretty simple. I go over here. I've been trying to make sure at least 2 of the sides match properly. There's a 20-inch line there. I just match that up and then use a bigger cutter so I'm not working too hard at cutting. It had a new blade in it recently. And I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm just going to do these one at a time because I'm always agonizing about whether or not these edges are going to start fraying. I never want these edges to fray, so I can cut these. Okay, I can get a bunch of trim ready and cut these second. But if I do that, then I get distracted. I'll never get back to it. Then the trim will start fraying. Let's see what I've got here. I know I'm doing at least some of these in black, so I got to go up that side, and I got it perfect. Okay, so we just move that out of the way for the moment. Okay, Google, turn off air conditioner. My phone just rang. I gotta iron this first, so I should. Yeah, I'm gonna iron this. My iron's over there. I have to. If I don't turn the air conditioner off, then the minute I turn the iron on, I lose my the breaker flips and everything turns off, which means that I have to wait out the process, get everything all back on again, and then get relogged into here. So I have no idea why I'm getting a message. I almost never get. Oh, cute. Okay, available for pickup. I was expecting a delivery. Okay, that's fine. I can go do that anytime. Put it over there. I'm going to iron this, and I'm going to trim some sections. Okay. So what's new and exciting? What's new and exciting? There's a few people that have wandered in. What's new and exciting for everybody else? Today is mine and Lisa's wedding anniversary. So that's new and exciting for us. New and exciting in the good way. Well, we already went out for dinner on the weekend, but we're probably going out again. We are going out again tonight. We just haven't decided whether we're going to keep it low key or on a Wednesday. You can just kind of wander into anything around here. Okay, it depends on where you're going, but the places that we like to go on a Wednesday, you can just wander in and get service. So I'm just waiting for my iron to heat up. Might as well trim loose threads while I can. So I've got 6 of these done. I need 9 total to make a blanket. I think I've got everything I need for 2 more. I think I need to put together a couple of, I think I need to put together a few more blocks to be able to do the last. I know I need to put together a couple blocks. And how am I doing that? Okay. Let's go iron this. I do not think I'm doing them all in black, but I happen to have the black out right now. And part of the whole purpose here is to not think too much. So I'm not thinking too much. I also didn't go like crazy on the ironing because I don't need to. I am still getting the hang of the new setup. I am still getting the hang of the new setup, so I'm still sorting out where things should or shouldn't be. So for this, I don't need this to be perfect, but there's no point. There's no point. Actually, how wide is this? 1, 2, 1, 2. I have enough here for 6 strips. So if I'm careful, I don't have to have. I'm horrible. Apparently, I'm horrible for like trying to talk when I really need to be coughing. I always have to cut the rotary cutter in my right hand, so I never quite get that. Anyway, so I have another project. Okay, I always have a use for 2.5 inch strips of black. So I am doing a wide strip. I am making this wide because I don't have to care. This is binding for a 20-inch piece, so it's not going to affect anything. That's actually 4 because everything's folded in half, so that's more than enough. And then this is going to be enough for me to do the next one. Six. That's enough for 3. That's actually enough for 3 of these. And then because it's already got 2 straight edges, what am I left with? 3.5 inches. I'm gonna leave this one exactly as is. 3.5 inches is actually the perfect width to go into a couple of different sizes on my AccuQuilt. I've been playing with my AccuQuilt a lot, so there's that. Okay. So these are pretty simple. I seriously doubt that I'll use these, but I'm going to hang on to them for now. I did before and ended up being able to use like at least half of them. Okay. Good news is, okay, sort on the back. Good news is that when it comes to black, there's not really a front or a back. And I like to just go all the way up and over because then when I pull it straight, that's automatically sealed. But I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. And that is I've got a random color on the top. I've got a random color. This is supposed to look random all over the place. So I've got a random color on the top. I've got a random color on the bottom. So it won't matter. Anyway. What do I got over there? Oh, I got a project that I need to work on. I've got a side project that I want to do. I've got a couple of side projects that I want to do. But I have to double check on a pattern first. And you ever see those tea towels? Jenny, how you doing? You ever see those tea towels that people have the crochet? You take a tea towel, you cut it in half, you crochet a top and connect it to your tea towel. There's patterns where you can do the same thing with sewing. So I got to get over there a little bit. I'm still getting the hang of how to do this. Yeah, I've got to trim these down and put binding on. So I'm just going to try and get some of these done today. I am just hanging out derping and not trying too hard, which makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so there's that. I don't need that. Still my favorite thread cutter. I mean, stitch ripper. I put that there for now. Ooh, yeah. Oh, it's August. I love the Bigfoot top. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm having a dumb. Today is Peggy has a dumb day. Yeah, I'm getting the I've got six of these big squares done. Oh, it's a gorilla. Yeah. Same. No, Lisa always calls me Lisa always says that I'm her gorilla. So she saw that and couldn't resist. So yeah, I'm just doing my binding today on some of these. I've got 6 done. I only need to do 3 more. I've got to do at least 2 or 3. I can probably make the patches that I have work, and that shouldn't be a problem. But I think I will have. It'll be okay. The minute you're down to only having 4 of something and you got to force it to work, it's a whole different level of not the same kind of fun. So I think I'm gonna do a few more because I want to just keep doing these. I want to keep doing these forever. So we'll see how that goes. Where's my little ruler? I don't need that. I only need this giant one out if I'm still getting used to where everything is. I'm still getting used to because I changed everything. It hasn't actually been that long, and I'm not gonna force it. You force it and then you have a problem. So that one goes there. I can save this one can work for other stuff because it should be the right size to go through my AccuQuilt to make something different like a diamond shape or something. Okay. See that? You just go up and over pretty sides together. So this would be the back. If you were doing this, this would be the back of your fabric. And then you just go boop. And it just automatically folds itself. It automatically folds itself, so that top is done. And then once it's folded in, you don't need to do anything for your corner. You don't need to do anything to hide to cover the seams. This one here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going to do it in reverse. I'll run it down. When I get near the end, I'll trim it and then fold it over. You'll see. Anyway, yeah, my day's been good. I've been sleeping okay. It's been weird without Bruno, of course, but we're both sleeping okay. The good news is that for the last quite a while, he was pretty good about just settling in and being fine for the night. So. It's the weird thing first thing in the morning when you look over and it's already 10 o'clock and nobody's pawing at you. That's been weird. That's been kind of weird, but no, I don't know what I did the other night, but I was up late. No big deal. I'm up late. Yesterday was a fucking mess. I was up late. I was up late because I was up late because I was dumb, right? My phone rings at 9:30 in the morning. And then an hour later, it rang again. So I was like, okay. But this morning, I went to bed at a decent time last night. And I probably could have easily gotten up around 9 this morning. I did go back to bed because I'm lazy, but okay. Now I'm just going to trim this. Does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough to go under. There's no rule on how much of this you need to go under. There really isn't. Okay, make it half an inch. Make sure you have at least half an inch. You're gonna want a thick enough piece to work with. Now this one here, same thing. Just give it a pull, and it's automatically turned and flipped under. It's a little off. This one here, because I'm going in the wrong direction, pushed itself up a tiny bit, but once I'm done with this and have it zigzagged onto all kinds of other fabrics. If you are worried about life, then you can go and iron this. You do have to really take your time. This piece here, you do need to take your time on it, get a little finger crease going. Yeah, now I can keep whatever sleep schedule I want. It's good. Okay, we're not making decisions because I don't think there's anything to make a decision on, but we're still This is where the gloves don't necessarily do me a lot of good, because you got to, in theory, I should be ironing this, but I'm lazy and we know this. So there, look at that. There's a little teeny tiny bit of thread that's worked its way forward, but no open seams to manage. It's already done. I saw that trick. I do this thing, and I watch. I watch. I don't go looking for it, but when they come up, I watch. Whenever Chinese. Okay, I'm assuming Chinese. It's definitely an Asian language. Whenever Asian language videos pop up showing little sewing tips and tricks, I'll watch them, because I know what they're doing. Like they'll show a little thing showing that they're making a whatever, and it's like, oh hey, I've made something similar. So I watch, and then I see the tips and tricks. Some, I think, Russian, Eastern European type language. They also have some good tips and tricks, but when you're looking at a lot of the Asian language stuff, that is where a lot of the world's manufacturing is. That's where a lot of the world's manufacturing is done. So that's where a lot of the piecework is. So they've learned all the shortcuts. So it's the language thing is because that is the area of the world that's all coming from. And yeah, they know all the tricks. They know all the tricks, all the tips. Like it would have never occurred to me to fold that over. I always would have cut it flat. Yeah. See, I used to always cut this flat and then fold it in and then hope that nothing falls out. But it's like, that's not, this teeny tiny corner here is going to be at the top edge. And if I want to, I can fold it in a bit and then fold it over. And then there's zero chance. But it's like, yeah, I've learned some of the little tips and tricks that I've ended up doing here. I've actually learned by just, you ever do the thing? People do this with tarot all the time. They'll turn off the sound and then watch a walkthrough. Same idea. Same thing. It's like, oh, that looks really cool. I wonder how she did it. And then it's like, well, I'm not going to understand them, but I want to see how they did it. So you just ignore it and you go, oh, that's a cool idea. Oh, that's a great thought. That's where I sort of kind of got the idea of not just cardboard templates, but making them out of something else. I saw some video somewhere where the guy was making templates, because they show all kinds, videos show all sorts of stuff, right? And it was like the guy was making a wooden template, walked in, handed it to I'm assuming his wife, and then she just went boop, 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 and used it to whip up something. And I'm like, oh, because I've been using cardboard templates. I was using cardboard templates for the longest time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with cardboard templates, but they break down. They start getting soft at the edges, right? It's like, oh my God, I can, and then, yeah, he grabbed I think he grabbed like a piece of what appeared to be a shingle. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that, but flooring is a thing. Anyway, I'm babbling, I'm doing the thing. I'm babbling because it's my job. That's what I'm here for. Here we go. It's a thick spot because of where everything's meeting. Don't forget, I'm binding something that was already partially bound. I cut off most of the binding, but where the intersections are and stuff like that, it's all still there. So I'm still getting the uphill stuff now and again. I just turned the air conditioner on. I turned the air conditioner off so I can have the iron on, and I'm already regretting it. That's still plugged in. Anyway, what else would we do besides, I hate that. There's a little, one of these days, babble, yeah. She brought me back this t-shirt. She brought me back a $6 tarot deck. That was cute. She saw it for $6. I forget. She didn't say where she was, just like in the novelty corner of something. She says, I've never seen one like it. So it's like, and it was small, so I got it for you. And I'm like, that's awesome. She brought back, what all did she bring back? She got some stuff for, so she didn't go as crazy as I thought she was gonna. It wasn't, let me go get it. I'll show it to you. Oh, there's something else I can show you guys. I do not have to. I do not have to. I am not under any obligations to accommodate any to accomplish anything today. So I'll go get the deck. The deck. I think she was more amused by the fact that it was like a $6 deck. It's like, oh, it's tiny and it's $6. Let's go take a look. You know, don't forget, just because I'm zipping through this quickly, but don't forget, okay, so everything, this is the front, right? But when you go to the back, I'll go to the back on that second. So this is the front and everything's done. You sew it onto the back, then you flip it over and sew it onto the front. So if you're FAFOing like I am, you're going to get, see the yellow? You don't really want to see that. What you ideally want to do, because this kind of goes off and on all the way down. What you ideally want to do is line this up with wherever that turned and have them be one on top of the other. So there's no, a lot of people actually go through and they'll sew it again from the back and turn everything under as they go. And this is a FAFO project. So I'm not in, I am not, as a FAFO project, I have no incentive to do that part properly. Just so you know, I'm not, what a lot of people will do is get all of this sewn into place and then put both sides on it once so that they're just sewing through both sides. Which is simple enough. You just take you fold it in half, right? And then you iron it down or not. Fold it in half again. So you fold it in half. You fold it in half. You fold it in half one time, right? You fold it in half this way. You find your center, okay? You fold into the center, right? And you do it all the way down. You iron as you go. There's even a gadget that'll do it for you. And then you fold it in half and iron it again. So once all this is done and ironed, this sounds, I'm making this, I'm fiddling because I'm using just a small piece and I'm not ironing, right? There's actually a gadget that will do this for you. So once you get everything done, you do that first, right? And then you just put everything's lined up front and back. And then see this, it's hard to see because it's black, because it's a black fabric, but you have that trough. And then you just go, you have it all set, all ironed, all ready to go. Then you just grab you grab your fabric. All set, all ironed, all ready to go. Then you grab your fabric and just kind of slot it in. And as long as you are careful, then they stay lined up. And then you just go, you can stitch in one step or you do the same thing. There's several ways to do this. There are several ways to do this. And if you have everything folded and ready to go first, and then just treat that like something you're slotting this into, you can get it done with having both sides. Only one line of stitching shows. You don't have a double line on. You don't have or are risking a double line on the back, but that's not this. This is a FAFO project, so I'm just going to do the thing. Yeah, bias tape. Basically, you're making bias tape, and there are bias tape makers that will make one that's. The bias tape maker makes one that's about this wide, and then you just fold it in half, iron it down, and you're good to go. So there are plenty of ways to do this without getting that double line of without getting that visible line of stitching in the back that's from the front. But I'm not that person because I'm not Agatha. I'm gonna go get that. Okay. Now I'm going to sit here and see if I can tolerate sweating. Okay. Usually, how you change temperatures for whatever reason, and then you once you change temperatures for whatever reason, it takes a bit to get used to it. I don't know what's going on back here. It's not. Oh, it is that one. Okay. Something was loose, and I thought it was the wrong thing. This is the one that she got me. It just says Tiny Toys Tarot Deck. So 1000% novelty. Let's see what we got here. So I've already been into it. I haven't shuffled it. So you have that, and you can tell it's 100% novelty because when they did it, the book doesn't quite fit. The deck doesn't quite fit in the box, and the book doesn't fit at all. I suppose I could make it go in. Yeah, I could. Okay, I can force it in, but it goes together like a pack of matches. So the Major Arcana, the Fool's Journey, it's the entire deck. I never really looked at it yet. I got something else to show you guys too. So I don't know if I can get the camera in any way that you guys are going to have to deal with a tarot deck on the cutting table. I won't cut it, I promise. Yeah, the journey of the Major Arcana, often called the Fool's Journey, starting with the Fool, representing new beginnings, and ending with the World, symbolizing completion and fulfillment. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's pretty much just keywords. Yeah, okay, so the Fool, upright, new beginning, free spirit, adventure, spontaneity, freedom, reverse, reckless, taken advantage of. I don't think I really thought of it that way. Distracted, foolish, gullible. Oh yeah, foolish and gullible, taken advantage of. So that's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. I'm in love with various forms and flavors of keywords. We all know this. It's got upright, it's got reversed. The Moon, illusion, anxiety, uncertainty, secrets, misconception, reversed, unveiling secrets, self-deception, mysteries unveiled, releasing fear, truth. Okay, this is not bad. Oh, same. Minor Arcana focuses on the everyday actions and decisions you make. So Minor Arcana, same. It's actually not bad. Three of Cups, friendship, community, gathering, celebration, social events, reverse, gossip, scandal, excess, loneliness, solitude. Yeah, that kind of matches. Two of Cups, new relationship, unity, attraction, joining forces, mutual respect, reverse, separation, rejection, imbalance, tension, withdrawal. Yeah. Oh, wait, she said that. Yeah. The swords are sewing needles. That's why she got it. She mentioned something in passing, and I was like, we were just, hey, how you doing? Come back. We were talking about so many other things. So the swords are sewing needles. Let's see if we can get in here. So we've got, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to see anything, but it's cute. Now, how do we do this? Where we go? We throw them around some. The Fool. There we go. The Magician. The Empress. I'm trying to read them at the same time. So they're pretty, the Emperor, it's a hummingbird. Hierophant is a key. Interesting. The Lovers is 2 shrimp. Okay. The Chariot is a shrimp in a thimble with a piece of Christmas candy for a wheel being pulled by a little light blue ant. Okay, that's super cute. I know I'll never use it. I'm just gonna be over here and not let you guys see it. Let's see what we got here. The World, it's a marble. I don't know if I can get it close enough. Yeah, there's the 3 of Cups. 2 upright, 1 upside down. Which is kind of, I don't think I've ever seen it to do that. I don't think I've ever seen it that way before. I think I'm almost, You almost always see all 3 cups upright. Oh, same as the 4. Oh, this is very pip. This is pip, which is fine. Queen of Cups. It's a very unimpressed chameleon with a crown and a ladybug on its back, climbing up its back. Okay. Ace of Swords. Maybe at the very least, I'll keep the swords. You put them somewhere. Oh my God, Knight of Swords, a bottle cap for a shield, a sewing needle for, it's an ant. That's cute. Oh, Queen of Swords is another chameleon with a blue ladybug, and the crown is made of sewing needles coming out the top. Very similar. Okay, let's face it. If I were selling a deck for $6, I don't think I'd kill myself over making everything. Oh, the kings are also chameleons. That's King of Pentacles. It's got the, isn't that under the K there in the corner? Isn't that the Zodiac Association? There's some sort of an association with that, is there not? Yeah, so the queen, so the kings and the let me see. Yeah, the knights, kings, and queens. It's another ant with a different kind of pop cap. What's he using? Oh, the shield is the shield is oversized because that's the pentacle. Not sure what it's supposed to be. Oh, here's the page. Little itty bitty mouse. Two of Wands is interesting because one matches. Not all the matches are lit. Whoop. Yep, there's another mouse for the page. Oh, earth, fire, air, water. Yeah, because this one's, they've all got it. They all seem to have it. Yeah, they all have the triangle symbol. I think you're right. That's like earth, air, water, fire. Yep, they are. I think that is it. The little mouse is cute. I'll find out where she got it. She got it in Portland. But like she may have got it at like she may have just picked it up at like from a company called Toy Smith. Yes. Tiny Tarot. Oh, she took the price tag. She took the price tag off, but then admitted that it was only about $6. Pacific W. Oh, Pacific. Is there a town in Washington called Pacific? Because it says Pacific Washington 98047 Toy Smith. Yeah, made in Shantou, China. Cardstock is yeah, for $6 this is cute. Because I just did that. I wonder. Nope, it doesn't fit. It does not fit, which is really unfortunate because it does not fit. Let's see if I can get it back out now. There we go. I got it. I got it back out. Yeah, so which is really too bad because this is kind of sort of a matchbox. This goes together like a matchbox. At least that's what I'm thinking of, right? But only you can't put the book in, so I don't know how you. I wonder if it'll just slide in the bottom. I'd kind of like to. Wait, do it that way. Oh, okay. I can do them like that. I can do it like that. Yeah, maybe take that sliver off. Well, I don't think I want to mess with it. Just because I think that, but I suspect the idea was that it was going to go like this and just be cellophane wrapped and everything was going to be in the box. And then they realized it didn't fit and it was probably cheaper. It was probably cheaper for a $6 deck. It was probably cheaper to remake a new box than it was to take everything apart and redo it and start over. So here's the other deck you guys are going to want to see, or at least Jenny's going to want to see it. Everybody else is like going, where's the sewing, man? Guess what showed up on Thursday? These are the finished decks. Lisa, oh, okay. Lisa, oh, once they finish the decks, they load everything onto a whatever they loaded on and throw it on a ship, right? But Lisa's copies, which she always gets about 20 or so, Lisa's copies get airlifted to us, air freight right away. And like this is number 0363. This is number, so they don't give us any particular priority over number or anything like that. I'm in the worst possible situation to show you much, just because of the camera angle. But let me see if I can get sorted out here a little bit better. I got this at Barb's suggestion. It's a little cover for my cans to prevent spills, but I'm not sure it's got the ribbon. Oh yeah, absolutely, it's got the ribbon. Okay, this was an amazing idea. It makes everything like turn into super fuzz. I'm not so sure that I'm liking it. I will have to try really hard not to spill stuff. Okay, so I am like the spoiled child in this case because I didn't have to think about anything that was changing. I am being that asshole. I'm only keeping one copy for myself, and that's the Sassy Pam, because I'm in love with my keywords, right? So I do not know. I knew about the ribbon. So this is the ribbon that does not come on the demo copy. That's the fine. This is bad lighting. This is bad lighting because this is okay. I don't know what exact color this is. This is a blue-gray color, but it's not. It's the right color, but it's not as it's about the same color. That's a little more clear. That seems to me to be about the right color. So everything, I do think she had to make a slight. Oh no, you probably know more than me, Jenny. I thought she had to make some sort of a slight color change or something for the inside of the box. So now the inside of the box is pretty much identical to the gray on the background of that. If there's any other changes, so yeah, the Fool. How do I do that? There we go. The Fool. All the meanings are there. The High Priestess, don't ignore your inner voice. You know more than you're willing to admit. The Empress, you are the source. Pour into it. Pour into what you are the source. Pour in. Oh, shit. Oh, no, that's just. Oh, my God. I need new glasses. Look at that. I thought it said Sour-E. I thought it said Souree, and it's a C. I'm like, oh, my God. No, it's a C. It's a C. Trust me, it's a C. I got the Sassy one too, of course. Yeah, so there was some small. Yeah, I almost, because I'm glancing, right? Your world, your real rules, purposeful action creates stability. Yeah, there's another C here, and it's just the upper tag. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. The upper little tick that goes on the C just fooled me for a second because I probably need better glasses. So yeah, so we've got this deck is done. Lisa's okay. Lisa's already been through the entire deck. Lisa has already been through the entire deck, so I don't have to have a heart attack. So yeah, a Pam deck, Wheel of Fortune ready. And now one thing that she did, oh yeah, it doesn't even matter. Because you know what she did? She didn't do anything. I almost forgot. She didn't do anything. This is not a font. See, look at how that one's a little bit off. It's because Pamela Coleman Smith did the text as well as the art. This is hand lettered text. Wheel of Fortune is hand lettered. So any potential okay, not misspellings, but any potential, like a line gets a little thick in a spot. That's entirely the art. Justice is a little dot off to the side because for whatever reason she put that there. Accountability isn't optional. Actions have consequences. That's the justice card. Hang tight. Perspective unfolds in the in-between. Yeah. Yeah. The original. Yeah, I just realized it's like, see, this is me not knowing shit, right? Yeah, I do. Was there anything else that you can think of that she mentioned having to tweak? Because I know she did a walkthrough with the prototype, and as she was going through the prototype, she pointed out any areas that need, like the ribbon. She pointed out this is gonna be yeah, because they don't put ribbon on the prototypes, and we don't know why. Must be a particular process for putting them on, but they don't put ribbons on the prototype, so you don't get them that way. But yeah, the perfect. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that she was. Yeah, but every single thing that she needed fixed has been fixed. She's reviewed it all. Well, she reviewed it. How did she review it? Anyway, she has had such a good relationship with this printer that yeah, they she told them what she wanted changed and they sent her photos. I know that they did that. You get your prototypes, you review your prototypes, then you tell them what you want, what you need changed, want/need changed. Then they make the changes, and depending on where your trust sits, they will either just send you some really like high-res photos of the stuff that changed, or you order a whole new round of prototypes. So she has had such a good relationship with these. Oh, there was this. This entire section here was slightly off to one side, so she had them recenter it. Okay, my camera being as fussy as what it is, it is perfectly centered. Top and bottom, side to side, it is perfectly centered. But if I go like that, it's going to look like, and I've got a pretty small inset, so let's just move it around a little bit so you can see. But yeah, she fixed the centering on the. I don't know if there was a centering issue on the back. I don't know, or the side, but she had them redo that. As a matter of fact, they already knew about it. They said, we can go. They said either you can. I forget how that went. She could have just asked them to do it, but she chose to do it herself because that way there's no question. But yeah, she got so the ribbon. The ribbon was, and she had the ribbon shortened a little bit because on the Sassy Dragons, the ribbon was pretty long. And so she asked them to shorten it a little bit just to be sure that wasn't going to be an issue. Shuffles, I like how it shuffles. It's a little bigger, a little taller than I like, but that's a me thing. But yeah, so this is done. This is completely done and ready to go. I have number 363 out of 1,000. She went ahead and printed 1,000 because that way we've got plenty in case there's issues, and we've also got plenty for the Etsy shop. So that's all done. I like really tiny decks. I like tiny decks, but I tend to use Sassy Dragon is about the perfect size deck for me to use, but I also tend to use decks with keywords on them. I am such a permanoob. I'm a permanent newbie. I don't care, so that's fine. But yeah, I tend to go boom, boom, boom. Yep, that's what's going on. And I tend to be very quick. I know some people will contemplate I know some people will lay out their cards and go back and forth and contemplate them all day long, and I just don't do that. Sometimes I'll go for months at a time where I'm not even pulling them out at all. I don't want to put that near where my pop is. I'm going to put my pop, I think. I need to figure this out. Now, what I can do, I've got a thermo cup. I mean, I think I'm just going to have to use my cup. I've got one. I've got a smaller one. I've been trying I've got one of these that I keep water in. Let me just be right back. Let me be right back. That works. Perfect. Well, that's nasty. Okay, I'm back. I do not need. Hello, Denise. Oh yeah, fun distraction is always it's gonna you know what it is? It's gonna be weird when like 4 o'clock rolls around and the barking doesn't start. But that's gonna be weird for all of us. So anyway, okay, so the decks are in. The decks are in, the decks are done. You got a pre-owned copy of the Self-With Pack book. And the copy is no, she did not sign all of her books. Huh. She signed a bunch of them. No, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss much, Denise. What I'm doing today, I'm going to move on to the next one. Basically, this one's already done, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's got blocks. Everything's here, and when you get up to here, this is all the binding here is all one color. So this is what I'm doing. I've got to get this part done, and since I want to sew. I haven't got any thoughts on what I want to do, but this is a part of the process that has to be done. Now, where the hell am I going to put it? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there. I'm going to drape these over the back of the couch because I can. I did 2 new ones. Let me do one of the new ones. Or the 2 I know you guys have seen all the other ones. I showed everything right when I first turned the camera on, but I'll show them again because I've got nothing better to do. But yeah, it's barking. It's like, but we didn't have a choice, so it is what it is. So I did this one. You guys remember me making? Well, I think for the majority of this quilt. Hey, Lisa. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, you know, as people are done with the book, they're gonna treat it. So I don't know if you guys remember that little teeny tiny guy. I used it as a patch here. I got a couple of Facto patches in there. So that's a new one that I made. This one I made really easy on myself. I had 4 that just went together just right. I wanted to use the coffin one, but I also know I don't need the whole thing to make it look like what it is. So I got that one done as well. That's just 4 pieces. So what I'm doing today. Yeah, that little tiny guy in the center is so cute. If it wasn't, I don't know if tedious is the right word, but I probably should have, would have made more of them. Now I've got this one here and I haven't, I haven't decided yet, but right up until I sew it onto something, I can do this later. Oh, and this one here is where I took Linda's idea and used a design all the way through it. I had that one up in front of the camera, and that turned out, I really liked how that goes. So this is really simple. Get the schmancy. Okay, you can do this without the schmancy ruler, but if you happen to have access to a schmancy ruler, because you also, I only need to go from there to there and from there to there to get my 20 inches. What's going on? I don't like binding a section that's already been bound. So anyway, the orange crush backing on the one. Yeah. Which one's that? This one? That was orange. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we all get to adjust today because Bruno was such a thing whenever I went live. So we'll see how this works out. Okay. That one cut and this one cut. Stand up. Okay. I get to try something new. Yeah, after listening and set up the sign, you might have. Now I'm curious. Okay, so I am going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do it from this side. Okay, on this one here, I'm going to do the same thing that I did already. I'm going to. I can't wrap it all the way around. Okay. Wait, what do you say? What did my wife just do? Hey, Trish, how you doing? Oh, Bruno's going to be completely missed. What do I'm not mad at you. I'm trying to be respectful. God, that's the problem. She's not used to that from me. But that's a different problem. Okay, so I do not need to go over this one because when I cut, this one is already exact. This one was already exactly at the 20-inch line. So I am just going to go up and over here. If you have the extra fabric, do a little bit extra, then it's less fiddly when you finish it. Let's see. Whoops, now there's more comments and I'm missing them. Lisa's just in here. Yeah, of course I'm here. I'm not ignoring my wife. Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. Yeah, I think we all get to have an adjustment day to day. There's been no like, what are you doing? None of that in the background. It's gonna be weird. Okay, so that's just okay. I have to FAFO this, but I do not want to agonize. So I'm gonna cut a little bit past. I'm gonna cut a little bit past. I'm just gonna sew for the moment. Once I get closer, I am just going to turn this just a little bit past the, okay, that'll be perfect. Okay. It's going to be, well, it's very, yeah, this is a respectful, serious quilting show, Lisa. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus, I should ban that chick. Because, you know. What am I doing? Okay. Hopefully I can show this because we're FAFOing, so we're going to see if this works. So I gotta get my Michael Jackson glove back on, one of them at least. I think everybody's going to have to adjust because that's one of the reasons why I made the announcement in the group. And I mean, okay, when we lost Shayla, we told people about it and we did make a post, but we didn't quite put the same effort into it because there were so many people out there who didn't even realize that we had a second dog because she never liked the camera. Bruno every single time there was a and I live stream like at least once a week. Every single time there was a live stream, he would show up sooner or later. So he has, I'll tell you this right now. He had his own fan base. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till I'm closer. I'm gonna wait till I'm closer to the end. There's no point in making my life more difficult than it needs to be. But yeah, he had his own fan base. So what I'm gonna do is, where these two colors are matched, where these two colors connect right here, I'm going to fold it in half, just like the tiniest bit past, so that it gets a good seal right here. And then do it, because that way when I fold it out and around, I'm still not gonna, I should still be able to avoid having an open seam. Plus also making sure that the very corner of this one here is also going to be properly covered. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, he was the sewing supervisor. He always showed up. No, he was like, no, he seemed to love the camera. The last few, who remembers the last few live streams? By 4 o'clock, he's over here bugging me, and he doesn't settle down until I put him right on the fucking table. But yeah, no. After he had that seizure, though, we didn't. He had that. I don't even know if we're still not 100% sure exactly what it was, but it wasn't a classic seizure. He just collapsed. He collapsed. We, for a minute there, thought he'd actually died, like on the spot. That takes away all your choice. choices. And the vet was quite reassuring, telling us that, like, no, there's nothing we can do except for wait for the next one. So, but yeah, so I'm still faffling. So we're gonna faffle. So now I've got this. I folded it. I did my fold. Okay, I've got the other end to do at the corner, but I'm starting at this end, right? Because what I'm gonna do, so I'll go around. But if I just start here, if I just start here and start from here and go down, or I gotta flip it the other way. If I just start from here and go down, then I'm gonna have like a little spot here for debris, dirt, whatever to fill up. So let's do it this way. Let's start this way. I'm gonna start from the outside. This is okay. I don't know if this is right or not. I have no idea if this is what you're supposed to do when you're doing something in this way. I am just doing it this way because I can. Yeah. Well, he was declining. He was declining for, I mean, I don't think anybody is surprised. He was already dealing with enough. That was the problem. The biggest issue is that he was already dealing with so much. That, because I think if he had just had I think if he had even as scary as that, I don't know what to call it. He just went noodle spaghetti. We don't know whether he was conscious or not, but he was absolutely unresponsive. We think he was probably unconscious, but we don't know. Absolutely unresponsive. He peed himself. His bladder. There's peeing yourself, and then there's your bladder just stops controlling itself. So there was that. Yeah. Yeah, keep the emoji. Bruno has his very own fan base, and there's no point in taking that. And he did. I kid you not. There was people every single time Bruno showed up. There was people who were quiet. And there's no shade and no judgment. I would be doing, even here, you guys, and I joked about it a couple of different times that, somebody's having a good time watching just enjoying the video, not really participating, doing the whatever, and that's totally fine. You're allowed. Bruno shows up. Oh, there's your good boy. What a sweet. And all of a sudden they're chatty. It's like he had his absolute fan base. He absolutely had a fan base. So that was one of the reasons why we made sure that we notified in all the places. Just because, yeah, there was, you know, there were people who were on their way out the door, and then Bruno showed up, so they'd stick around to visit him for a minute, you know. So, but yeah, there have been some new things going on. Nothing worrisome. I mentioned a few times that his hearing was going, and we weren't sure if his hearing was senior hearing loss or whether it was whatever was going on from a cognitive perspective. Like, does he not hear us, or is the sound not translating? We couldn't tell, because some days he seemed to hear fine and other days he seemed to have trouble hearing, which that's not hearing decline, that's something else. But anyway, I'm gonna probably butt anyway, and then just data dump. That's how I process. But anyway, but see, I just did it again. He had, if you want to hear, okay, do you guys, okay, this is like, we took him out. We already had the appointment made. We took him out for an Egg McMuffin because he's a diabetic dog on a strictly controlled diet, right? So we took him out for an Egg McMuffin, and I was like, well, buddy, have at her, eat it, have the whole thing. You know. So he was like ecstatically happy about that. So we had his Egg McMuffin, and then we're like, okay, well, and we did that just before going to the vet, because we last thing you want to do is for him to get sick, right? Like, okay, we're gonna take him for an Egg McMuffin, then we're gonna take him to the vet. And did I put that one on back? I put this one on backwards. I did the back first I did the front first, the front first instead of the back. Don't care. But then just in a stroke of whatever, because it didn't occur to me to the exact last second, we brought Bacon with us. He was so distracted with the Bacon that, because he's normally afraid of the vet. He was so distracted with the Bacon because he was having unrestricted food for the first time in literally years. So he was so distracted, and bacon and eggs are his two favorite things in the whole wide world. So he was so distracted with that he barely registered. He didn't care. And of course, like, it's not some blasé. Wasn't that wonderful? But we wanted to do an at-home thing, but nobody was available, and basically there'd already been some talk about whether or not this was just there'd already been some talk of what kind of brain decline he was dealing with, and whether or not there was a possibility of a tumor. And because he's such a small dog, the testing alone could have killed him, and any potential treatments would have. So it's like, anyway, so when they said there was nobody available to come out to the house, it's like, okay, we'll bring him in. But he was so distracted with the Bacon that he barely acknowledged where we were, because we just kept he's a little dog. A little thing of Bacon was enough to keep him completely distracted. And then the first thing they do is they give them a sedative. So he was too distracted to be scared of the vet, which he's usually scared of the vet. He was too distracted by the Bacon to be scared of the vet. So when they give him the shot, which he's used to getting shots, I was like, buddy, you're getting in the way of my Bacon. That's all he cared about. And then when the sedative started laid down, he's like, okay, I'm going to take a nap now. And then the rest was just procedure, which I will say, of the stories that I've heard about people taking their dogs to the vet and the fear and whatever from the dog because they don't like the vet, we were very grateful that his love of Bacon put him in a better frame of mind, because it didn't necessarily have to go that way, right? But no, he was, once the seizure itself cleared, about half an hour, once the seizure itself cleared, he was like tired and seemed a little confused, but we don't, You can't ask him, right? You can't ask him. Do you remember that happening, buddy? You can't ask him anything about it. There's no way to check in, right? But the vet assured us that, well, whatever is going on, because he had clear cognitive decline already with, beginnings of, well, it was either the beginnings of dementia or the beginning effect of a brain tumor. There's things that dogs can get as they get older, and none of them can really be tested for in a dog that small. And what little bit of testing they can do is so hard on them at that age that it wasn't worth doing. So that's why we never did the testing back then. When we took him in for the evaluation right after we lost Shaley, he was pretty adamant. Like, we said we're pretty sure we're just on comfort care, and they said, oh yeah, you're on comfort care. There's not much we can do. Keep them comfortable, keep them happy. That's all you can really do about things, right? Which we did. So we're pretty glad how that part went. It's really a shame that it had to happen so quickly, because we thought that we weren't even going to be having a conversation for months. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that, well, that's the thing with the he would do anything for egg. Anything. He would do anything to have a piece of egg. So we got him the Egg McMuffin, and like I said, we let him eat the whole thing. And then we were just getting up to leave, and it's like, well, wait a second. He's got no restrictions. So, his restrictions just ended. So I ran in, and if you go into McDonald's and you ask them, can I have a single patty? Can I have a side order of bacon? Can I have a single? They will do that for you. And if you ever find yourself wanting a treat for your dog, I'll every time it's like, it's for my dog. Boom, they'll sort it out right away. Okay, don't just, I like a side order of bacon to go, please. They just look at you like, what? And you go, oh, it's a treat for my dog. Oh, okay. If you've got something going on and you just need a side order of bacon because that's what life did to you today, just tell them it's for your dog, whether you have a dog or not. They were like, oh, because they get it. They don't get a lot of it. They don't get a lot of that, but yeah, no, it was there. So I got lucky on this one. I only had to put one here and one there. The rest stays the rest stays normal, but this one's already all black anyway. So two. I get this 4 more of these to get done. Then I've only got 3 more to do to have the 9 I need to get started on the rest of this. Yeah, we took most of the bread away. They're going to do a paw service. Yeah, like Lisa said, the minute he realized the whole McMuffin was for him, he got so excited. And then as soon as he realized we were bringing bacon with us, because you just let him smell it. Come on, let's go get a car ride. He was, as sad as it was for him. And the thing is that he was so excited and distracted by the food that there was no time for fear for him, which was like the best thing, the best possible solution. I need to blow my nose. Get back. Okay. Ow. Yeah, because Lisa got home. You got home. What day did you get home? You had 2 days with him. So. Okay, so now this one I'm going to be cutting on multiple sides as well, because I got to cut that one. Oh, you guys can't even see now. This one I got to cut this side. Okay, this one here, I am going to cut on 3 sides, I think, because when I put this one together, I found this one that was already open, but it fit perfectly to get me my, this one goes to almost 21 inches on this side and almost exactly 20 inches here. So I'm going to be cutting that then that, but I also got to cut to here. So if I get my ruler and back myself up the tiniest bit, I might as well cut this piece off too, and then just leave that one and go on 3 sides. Or not. Let's see. Let's get the correct 2 pieces of the ruler. If you have a ruler, if you have one of these schmancy rulers, I need to make 3 more. I need to make 3 more, but I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch. I've got a whole bunch. I can definitely make one more. I can definitely make one more here, right? But if I make the one, this was one of the pieces that we gave to Bruno. It was just a piece. It was just but it was left over from the fox blanket. So I'm gonna put it into this blanket. So I've definitely got between the pieces that are finished and the ones that I've still got here, I've definitely got enough to do 2 more easily. But I also don't want to have to fight with it on fitting. So I'm gonna get these ones done, and then I'm gonna once these ones are bound, then I'm just gonna take my time getting some more of these done. But yeah, I've got a ton of stuff. I'm not gonna have a problem. I've got a ton of stuff already, and I only really need to do enough to do like one more, because that's almost one right there. To there, to there. I don't really have a lot more to fill in. So I would probably go to there, and then, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it all, but I've got lots. I've got lots. I don't have that much more to do. And I can also, because it's a FAFO quilt, I can also just make 2 or 3 20-inch blocks. I've got plenty of things that I know how to do. I got plenty of things that I know how to do that will make a 20-inch block. So it looks like, okay, this one here. Okay, so my original is going to stand. So I'm keeping that to there, and then cutting off all the way up and around. This part's easy though, because like I said, there's more than one way to do binding, and if you embrace the FAFO, the way I'm doing it is quick. It's easy. It's going up. I didn't leave enough space at the end. I should have brought this over a bit so I could go down the outside. That's okay. Oh, I've got to turn the whole thing. I've got to turn the whole thing just to make sure it's meeting properly. There we go. And okay, now I'm going to have to cut here and go backwards. I'm the first one to tell everybody, do not cut backwards, but I had to avoid cutting. I'm leaving this binding on, but taking that binding off, so I had to avoid cutting, so I had to back up a little bit first. But that was done. Anyway, where are we at? We're having... Yeah, let me see. Where are we at here? Let me catch up on the conversation. Lisa's here being talkative and shit. Yeah, he was super cuddly with Lisa when he got back. But it's kind of funny because the timing of it was perfect. Lisa had already enjoyed her vacation. She got to spend a few really high quality. Bruno, when Lisa's not home, he misses her, but he doesn't miss her because he's used to her being gone for the day. So it took him like 3 or 4 days to even really click in that, oh, she's actually been gone for a while, huh? It's not that he doesn't care. It's not that he doesn't like her. He loves his other mommy, but he doesn't notice her. He doesn't notice her absence the same way because she has a day job. So by the time she come back, he had just enough time to miss her. The weather had been crappy all week. It finally turned nice. Yeah, I'm gonna need 3 more of these. 3 more is not that bad. But what I can also do, I can take the other one that I made and I can make it I can add 3 to the bottom of the other one I made and make that bigger. Yeah, light on details because it was really like, you know, it's really hard to talk about it in the moment. Yeah, a little bugger barked my ears off. Oh, I didn't miss much. Oh, math. Sorry that you have to math. Okay, when you're cutting backwards, because basically these are razor sharp. So when you're cutting backwards and something shifts, you can get really hurt. It's a safety thing more than anything else. If for some reason you're going to cut backwards, just be really careful because you never want to take they'll tell you to say, even an X-Acto knife, they will say, like, okay, when you're cutting with an X-Acto knife, you're cutting like this, right? But they will also say, don't cut something super long where you have to reach past your own body. My brother-in-law did that once. He cut himself on an X-Acto knife. He was using a box cutter and slipped right into his thigh. He had to go get stitches. Mind you, considering he turned out to be one of life's major assholes, fuck him. But that's a whole different conversation. That one will fit. I'm gonna make that logo right there. Okay, so I've got to go halfway, then all the way around. This one, I'm gonna do the same thing. Fold it part way. This one only has to go this one here only has to go to the end because I'm going all the way around. Yeah, don't cut towards yourself. And it's really easy to go, well, you know, I'm fine. But then something happens because a lot of times when you're cutting, a lot of people just automatically stand over their work to cut. So if you're standing over your work and because like Rose used to cut like this, scared the crap out of me every time she'd get her blade all sorted out where she wanted, and then she'd go in one rapid quick motion. It's like, if that blade, it's like, she always cut away from herself, so that's fine. But it's like, if you ever cut toward yourself like that and anything slips, you're super fucked. Okay. So, I may have to stop and I'm doing it again, and I'm doing it from the front. And I can have the double row, but you really should be doing these in the back. Actually, that means I'm going to do this one first. La la la, la 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 la. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter which way you put it on first. It's just that if it's going to shift, it's got a better chance of shifting in whichever direction you're going towards. But that's not going to matter. I'm going to do this way. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay. You think you would need one of those large rulers? Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the large rulers. Actually, okay, one fairly long ruler is really, really helpful. But what you can also do is, like, this is all got marks on it, right? So what I can do is I can take this and I can go, okay, I want this to be 20 by 20. So you bring this all the way back up, line it up there. It's like, there's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You count to 20. So one decently long ruler and a mat that's got marks that you like, but you can also go, but I can't see this. This is making me a little crazy. I can't see this, right? Oh, what's that doing? So if you go, well, this is making me a little crazy and I can't see it, then you go, okay, 1 inch to 21. 1 inch to 21. So if you want it to be 20 inches, you just cut along the 20-inch line, the 21-inch line. Oh, anybody who does that, that's never do that with a sharp knife. But yeah, if the schmancy rulers can cost almost as much as a half decent cutting mat. So it depends on what's what. I like my schmancy rulers because that 40-inch ruler, I mean, that 20 by 20, that's what I used when making, that's what I was using when making my 2 pocket backs. Cause it just let me, it's perfect. But, this one's not, this one's next. I got to get that out of the way. Don't have to get it out of the way, but I should. Okay. I didn't start stitching, so nothing stayed where I put it. That's fine. If you have something where the fabric and the interfacing are not helping each other stick together, then you definitely would want to come back and pin this. Oh, I did a small change on my space here, by the way. I know I've had it out before. I have a little travel cutting board, and I have a little travel cutting mat and ironing mat thing. So I laid it out right here so that I have a cutting surface. But then if I also want to switch over and get my AccuQuilt, or if I want using a portable thing that I can just fold up and put away, means that I've got more versatility, so I can use it more. I can use this more like a modular attachment than anything else. There we go. That reminds me, I got two new feet for my machine too, which I'm really happy about. I technically should be using the one right now, but I want to get some practice on it first because it's a little bit it's a specialized walking foot, so I want to make sure that I am more familiar with it. Okay, I don't have to do anything down here. I don't have to go down here yet because I'm going to do that. I keep trying to I've got to pick a spot and just not move it around. Yeah, this one here. This one here is my favorite large ruler. It goes all the way across the entire width of the cutting mat. So I can line up 20 by 20 and go. If you only have, this is a $50 ruler, and that was probably closer to 70. If you only have the budget for one big ruler, and this is just like an $8. This is one of those weird attachments that you get for your shower. Oh, here's the shower assist thing to pull yourself out of the tub. So this is about a $50 ruler. It's nice and big. It combines well with a cutting mat with a cutting mat to let you just like, you put this along here, you find the 20-inch line and you just go. Like, it lets you get something this big, especially if you can put a handle on it, helps you get really good cuts, a lot of control. If you've only got, if you want one big rule, if you need one big ruler, but your budget is limited, start with, there's this one. This is 8.5 by 24, and there's also a 6 by 24. Start with something in that size range. If your budget doesn't matter, what that one there is really good for, the big 20 by 20, what that was really good for is making reading cloths. That's excellent for reading cloths because I just drop it. If I want a 20 by 20 inch reading cloth, I just plunk it down, go all the way around the 20.5 inch, because then by the time I would cut my fabric, then I would plunk it down and I would use it as a marking thing, right? And I mark it that way, then I do it. But it really gave me it helped me do a lot of things that I really wanted to do in a much easier, more convenient way. I'm just giving this a quick little press down. Where's my other ruler? This is one of my favorite day-to-day rulers. Just because, come on, get in there. It's one of my favorite day-to-day rulers just because it fits everywhere. But again, if I had to pick just one and make that work for as much as possible, I'd start with the 8.5 by 24. Mind you, the 6 by 20, I never had a 6 by 24. I never had the 6 by 24, so I have no idea. Okay, I gotta start on this side. I got to go in from the back, and the simplest way, I got to get these out of the way. I may or may not salvage some of this. Like this one here. This one here is big enough. I should probably put it on my pile. That one there's big enough that I can easily. If I don't find a container for it, there we go. If I do not find something to put it in, then I get frustrated because then it also, when I'm looking at cutoffs and sorting out what I want to do next, when I'm doing that, then I get frustrated because it all starts looking like scrap because it's just in this big fucking nasty pile. If it's in a big fucking nasty pile in a container, I will at the very least take a look at it. Anyway. Yeah, I wanted to get it. I wanted to get a 6x24, but it was kind of pointless for me because I already had the bigger one and the bigger space. So I never did try out. Okay, you get there. You get there, you get there. Anyway. Yeah, the big rule that if you're in a position where you can like make and sell reading cloths, then I would say either a 15, if you're into smaller ones, then a 15 by 15 inch ruler, which is that one. Or, okay, I've got a 15 by 15 inch. This is 12.5 by 12.5. The orange is showing where the half is. And then my bigger one, because that's about 12 inch, 15 inch, and 20 inch are 18 inches a good size too. But 12, 15, 18, and 20 are about the basic sizes for selling a reading cloth. Anybody, and you can always open the door for if anybody wants a custom size, just reach out. Rectangular cloths do well, but rectangular shaped reading cloths do well, but I found that they didn't do very well until I started picking standardized sizes in them too. I just can't remember what sizes I was doing. 15 by 20, I think. I didn't really get it. I was selling so many bags and pocket pouches that I was never really, if somebody, for a while there, I wasn't making reading cloths at all because I was selling so much of the other stuff. So lots of tips on how to make one, but not a lot of tips on which particular size of reading cloth was the best option. I will say though that the quilted mats were really popular, and the biggest thing about the quilted mats that made them popular was selecting the right material, the right fabrics. Something's going on. No, just my imagination. It feels like it's crimping underneath, but it's not. But you can tell I miss having the shop, but I don't. Like I would have days where I've got a fucked up shoulder, and I would have days where my shoulder was bothering me, but I took on all these custom orders this week. Nobody's fault, my own fault for saying yes. But okay, so that one's done. That one's done. If you're not gonna iron, at least I'm putting this piece here, right? If you're not gonna iron, at least finger press, so that when you put these on, they're gonna like not. It's really easy for this to like be, instead of being this far out. If it's not pressed open a little bit, it's really easy for it to actually be that far out with a big flat. And so you need to be sure that you're paying attention to that. It's usually this one that matters. As you're pushing forward, it's going to automatically push that one out. But anyway, oh, that's already been cut. I'll start at that end. There are better ways to do this, but I'm not going to do that. And I've also got to change my bobbin in a second. There we go. I'm thinking about that. Lisa and I was just telling Lisa about that the other day. It's like if/when the tariff situation ever decides to settle down, there's a really good chance that I'm going to want to reopen the shop for limited availability. But I don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, here's the thing: for good or for bad, you kind of have to maintain your relevance. But then again, I have people that like me and like my stuff, who, if I were to show up after 5 years, if they're still, it's like, well, what do you know? I wouldn't need. I'm saying it backwards. I don't think if I were able to reopen to the States, and if the whole tariff shit were to go away and online selling started making sense again, because it's also got to make sense to you as an online buyer to buy from Canada, right? But I don't need to be reopening to $4,000. I remember I told you about that one time after the COVID shutdowns ended, right? I think I had I think my first week back was like $8,000 or some ridiculous amount. I would have to look it up, but it was crazy. That's not going to happen because I don't think I'm going to put that much dollar value. I don't think I'm ever going to put that much dollar value into the shop again because I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Now, if I find myself in a situation, okay, like say I don't know, like say somebody I know locally is like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and it's like, well, okay, another rose. If I find somebody to be who's interested in being a helper in a way that makes sense and would work, that could happen. But I do not see myself putting an ad in the paper. I need to hire a helper. Blah. I would not take that on for a stranger. Stranger danger. So I don't know. Who knows what the future's going to hold? But yeah, I think. Okay, this is me overthinking out loud because the thing is that if it wasn't for all the tariff and other nonsense, like a rose in the U.S. Okay, if somebody in the U.S. were to say, I want to start selling some bags, I will give you. Absolutely, with my blessing. I wouldn't want a piece of that action or anything like that. That would not make sense. It wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't be fair because then it would lock that person up from building their own personal reputation. But it's like, okay, like let's say that for some reason, Jenny, you decide, you know what? I know enough about sewing. I want to make these bags. I want to start making Peggy bags for myself. Well, my design. I want to start doing this design. I want to start making bags for myself. You start doing that, and then you reach out and you say, hey, like, I'm kind of getting good at this, and I kind of want to sell these. Then I'm going to go, abso-fucking-lutely. How can I help you get your name out there? There is plenty to go around, right? I would be, so if somebody wanted my help, support, whatever, then I would help you with anything you need to get good, to get comfortable, to make a product that we can both be proud of, and then to, support whatever. I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat. Oh my God, let the Yellow Pages do the walking. There's people in the group who have hung out, especially when I had that one video up. I really need to do another one. I need to do another one of those videos and maybe just not allow comments. Because honestly, I don't think I knew how to turn off comments, so I just deleted the video, right? But if I would have just turned off the comments, but there's a couple of people who have gone on to make dozens of their own bags, and that's absolutely, because let's face it, not everybody can afford to buy. Not everybody can afford to buy a bag. Not everybody's gonna like the materials I pick. The only person I ever had hard feelings about was my fucking nephew, and because that was family drama at its fucking finest. Because at the time that whole thing happened, at the time that whole drama happened, A, they were 100% aware that they were stealing a proprietary design, and B, believed that believed that they actually believed that by stealing that design that we were going to go hungry. Lisa's sister had herself completely convinced that we needed the money, that we needed the money from the bags just to pay the bills. Now, we really appreciated the money, and ultimately, like, I made a fuck ton of car payments with that money. We definitely benefited hugely from that money, but we were never going to go hungry, but they thought that we would. So that's it's funny because if knowing what we know now, Shane was such a lazy piece of shit that he was never going to make more than a dozen bags anyway, which was all he made. He only ever made like 2 dozen bags. Idiot. Family drama being family drama. Well, I think my day-to-day life is pretty whatever, but I don't know if a ton of family drama. My mother was one of those lazy narcissists. So she was perfectly happy to always paint me in the bad guy in every situation. And the family were just like, yeah, whatever. But then I find out that these are things that take years and years and years to develop. Like my falling out with my family was because my brother-in-law threatened to assault my son on Christmas Day. And their idea of an apology was, well, Pete didn't do anything wrong. You deserved it because you're a bad mother. It's like, oh, wow. Okay, I guess we're done. But then I move on, and it wasn't until 18 years later, I do a DNA test for funsies. So I don't know how to describe this. I don't think it's a ton of family drama as much as it is. I don't mind talking about it. Oh, you didn't know that. Okay. I'm not, yeah. Okay. So basically I was the black sheep of my family for just simply existing. And again, I find out about, it's about 3 years ago now. I took a DNA test for funsies and discovered that I am a Wilson. I am not a Van Coonen. That's what I found out. Right. But my mom was too lazy to be truly toxic. I started smoking. Basically, a couple weeks later, within like a week and a half, parents find out I'm smoking. And mom looks at me, well, you don't need to lie. I know you've been smoking for at least the last year. And it's like, no, I just started literally 2 weeks ago. Yeah, okay, whatever. That was my mom. Went to my very first party with my cousins. And I said, well, my cousins are having a party. There's going to be alcohol there, but I promise I'm not going to drink. Blah blah blah. She's like, oh, just do what you want. You always do. It's like, dude, I'm literally 16 years old, asking for permission to go to a party where I may have a drink. Came back that night. I was there for 8 hours. Had exactly 2 single shot, nothing special drinks. Over an 8-hour period, I come home and I said, hey, you come home after a night out, you let your parents know you're home, right? And I said, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So, it's like, and I started to say, yeah, it was actually a really nice party, kept things mellow, yada, yada, yada. She looks at me and goes, I can't talk to you when you're like this. I'm like, when I'm drunk? Yeah. So that was my mom. She was too lazy to try too hard. But she was also persistent. Anyway, but the thing is, you grow up kind of, I don't know how to describe this, because I grew up, it gives you a chance to deal with a whole lot of baggage. I knew my parents, I knew my mother didn't give a shit about me from a very, very young age. But I also knew she was too lazy to go too far. So basically, by the time I'm hitting 19, 20, I've already dealt with a lot of things, and it takes people their entire life. When people come from toxic families, it can take them the rest of their lives to deal with it. So the light thing. But anyway, but yeah, but the thing is that I'm not afraid to talk about this shit. That's why it seems so much worse than it is. We've all got that toxic relative. I find out as an adult just how much the rest of the family didn't like her. And I started hearing rumors about I started hearing rumors that people in the family were not entirely sure that my dad was my dad. The family drama at the time, you see, like, and also let's back up though. My dad was third youngest of 11 kids. So there was always, somebody was always dealing with some drama. So some of the front door light thing. I'm still confused, Denise. I'm just being confused in general today though. So that's me. But no, like a lot of the stuff, like when you've got like 20 aunts and uncles, and then close to over 100 cousins and stuff like that, there's always some drama, right? Like I heard from a couple of my aunts that there was questions about who my father really was, but my mom dated my Uncle Larry first and then dated my dad. So left on to check in. As long as everything's good. I don't have to understand shit. But the thing is, okay, so I hear from a couple of aunts, well, there's some rumors, there's some questions about who your real father is, because your mom dated your Uncle Larry first. And my mom had already had a kid. But see, here's the thing. This sounds like a lot. This is my mother's drama. This is the shit that had nothing to do with me, at least not on the surface, not initially, right? So there was already questions in the family over who my dad was, because my mother dated my Uncle Larry first, then got together with my dad, then announced she was 6 months pregnant with me when she got married, right? Of course there's going to be questions. So when I went and did my DNA test for funsies, I'm like, well, unless my Uncle Larry's kids have gotten DNA testing for themselves for fun, and it turns out that we're half sisters. If my Uncle Larry was my father, then his other kids would be my half sisters, right? So unless something that specific happens, I'm not going to find out anything that matters. So it's okay. Well, let's go take a DNA test for funsies. And then I find out I'm not related to any of these motherfuckers. It's like, oh, well, that explains a lot about a woman who was bitter. Her, my father should never have gotten together. They should never have stayed together. But that's a whole separate conversation, right? But explains a lot. Explains a lot. But anyway, no, my mother was incredibly late. I gotta blow my nose again. I'll be right back. I gotta pee as well. There we go. That's a bit of a bummer. I was kind of hoping. God, I'm a horrible person. I was kind of hoping that at least one benefit could be that I was going to have a little bit less of the sinus stuff by not having dog fur around all the time. Yeah, love a Peggy Brand. Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, okay, like in terms of a lot, Lisa has been through far more than me. I just talk about it more. Okay, what did I do? There we go. That's right. Those are right. Okay. I talk about it more because I don't give a shit. So yeah, so like this drama about who my daddy was and all that stuff, that okay, as much as that had an impact on me, it wasn't actually about me, right? Like my mother used to go, yeah, blah 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 blah. You guys are good kids because I'm such a good mom, yada yada yada. And I find out that the relatives' perception on that was it's really amazing that you and your sister were as good at kids as you were, considering who your mother was. It's like she wasn't fooling anybody. I find out from my one aunt who is quite vocal, but you know she knows when to do her battles. Find out from one aunt who's quite vocal that nobody in the family could stand my mother, and they just were nice to her for my dad's sake. But my dad was always a very hands off. My dad was always very hands off. My mom wore the pants in the family. Yeah, microscopic doggy stuff for a while. Yeah, we're pretty sure one of my stepbrothers has a secret different dad. But here's the thing: you're not okay. But imagine you don't give a shit, and now you can just rant in public about it, right? So it's like this bullshit with my brother. My brother-in-law threatened my kids. I said this is not okay. This is not okay. You terrified my child. He wants nothing to do with you now. And the end result was when they stopped talking to me. They would because kicking me and my kids to the curb was far more preferable than asking a grown-ass man who was screaming obscenities and threats at a child that he owes that kid an apology. Apologizing to my son was never going to be on the table because my brother-in-law had done this before to one of his other nephews on his side of the family and never apologized then either. So it's like, okay. So as soon as that happened, it's like, well, I can speak up. Yeah. But here's the thing. So I got caught up in the fact that somebody else was a major asshole. But the thing is that my family, it was very clear for a very long time that if every single time I stood up for myself, I was the one who was in trouble. So I'm just like, whatever, because it doesn't matter. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you stand up for yourself or not, if the people around you are going to believe the worst of you, no matter what you do or say. So I know you've been smoking for a year. No, I started like a week ago. You don't need to lie to me. Okay. I started gray walking. Oh yeah. Well, because my sister was a favorite. My sister was absolutely the golden child. I used to make a joke that my parents had a shotgun wedding and I was the bullet, which is exactly what it was. My dad never said anything about it. My mom liked it. Oh, no. He proposed. And then coincidentally, the same night, I let him know I was pregnant. It's like, no, that's load of shit. Why do you think, and then of course, somebody somewhere must have called her out on it because she suddenly stopped telling that story. But so it's like, if nothing, I come home after a party that I've asked permission to go to. I have said, I'm only going to have this much max. And my cousins have already told me that if my cousins, I was young and my cousins were feeling protective. My cousins had already told me, like, look, if you get wasted, we're walking your ass home. She did not believe any of that. Oh, I can't talk to you when you're like this, because in her mind, I was already fucking off to get drunk with them 3 times a week anyway. It's like, okay, you learn 2 things. It's either a constant fight back, which was a waste of my time, or you gray rock. Yeah, and it's like, I need a fabric that will do one side for sure. As long as it's minimum, I don't, yeah, that's good size. I don't have to have exactly 2.5 inches, but I might as well, so I can be quick and careless without any consequences. That's my criteria. I want to be able to throw this stuff on in a hurry. I don't want to have to agonize. Oh, I can just put one of this on too. There we go. I'll just start using this stuff for some more. Anyway, but yeah, so it's like my life wasn't really all that complicated. It involved a whole lot of gray rock. Gray rocking is, okay, like I said, gray rocking is somebody says something and you feel the immediate urge to defend yourself. I didn't do that. That's wrong. And you get upset and you try to argue the point. Gray rocking is they say something problematic and you just go, okay. No, I don't think we're going to see pinning today at all. Okay. where my stance on pinning is I do pin, believe it or not. I do use pins, but I also, okay, this is a tiny bit over, which is awesome, which means I don't care if I end up with any of that gold. It's going to get, I don't know why I did. Did you see that? I used one rotary cutter, then I used another one. Okay, so that's going to do one side, but it's not enough for two sides. And that's close enough. Yeah, unfortunately, when I say pin, it's definitely do as I say, not as I do. I'm fucking lazy about pinning. I've always been lazy about pinning. So the thing is that I learned all about gray rock. I learned all about all the things from a very young age, which honestly, okay, I will tell you right now. If you, yeah, Orange Crush, if you are, this is actually supposed to look like flames, but it doesn't. If you are dealing with a narcissist in your life, my mother was a lazy narcissist. She was definitely narcissistic. She would make comments about what a good mother she is, and it's like, dude, get your fucking. My mother was addicted to Harlequin romances. Like, she would literally read anywhere from 10 to 20 in a week. We would go on vacation, and she would just. We would go to like those little rustic shithole cabins when you're a kid. That was us. We would go to the rustic shithole cabin, and she would just lay there the whole time reading. She would lay there for 2 weeks reading a book. So my Aunt Ruby actually told me one time, was like, my Aunt Ruby, okay, there's a disease in my family that causes blindness. It's called retinitis pigmentosa. I don't have it. My kids don't have it. If you're not born with it, you can't pass it on. So that part's good. But my dad had it, right? And so did my Aunt Ruby. And this is, so my parents would go visit. My parents would go visit my Aunt Ruby and my Uncle Ted. And my dad would be out hanging out with Uncle Ted. They'd go fishing. They'd go do whatever, right? And my aunt, who had retinitis pigmentosa, oh my God, it was insane. It was insane how much that shit she read. Like, oh, what did I do there? That's really narrow. Oh, okay. That was the edge. That was the edge piece. That's the edge, but that's okay. It'll go through my AccuQuilt into something else. Let's put it in that for now. No, she, like, okay, you can read a Harlequin. If you're reading a Harlequin romance, they're so easy, short books that you can read like one in an evening. You know, she would go to the library and come back with like at least 2 bags, and she was at the library every week. I gotta iron this one though. Anyway, so yeah, when you've got as many relatives as I have, then all the drama makes its way back to you. So finding out, I don't know why my mother thought it would never happen, but eventually finding out just how disliked she was in the family, there's not really a whole lot of surprise there. Okay, so this one here starts there. Okay, so this one here has clearly, okay, the black I was using doesn't necessarily have a front or a back. This one definitely does. Oh, I gotta get ready to go in a minute. So you want the pretty side against the back. So you want to be looking at the back side of the fabric.
Hey, baby.
Am I getting my stuff ready?
Yeah.
Right this second? Or has a minute?
You have a minute.
Okay. Anyway, no, so I have observed an amazing shit ton of drama. I have also experienced, I think we're going to the keg. Are we going to the keg? We're trying to, I guess we're just going wherever there happens to be food. Give me a kiss. Kiss my face.
Kiss your face.
Mwah. Okay.
She said kiss your face.
Yeah, see, and now I'm like, oh, no barking, right? Anyway, no, a lot becomes relative to what came next, right? Or the time frames. So I'm 61 now. And you don't talk about how, oh yeah, yesterday I was really sleepy, so I didn't do anything, right?
I need you to fix his ears.
What did you do?
They're pinned down.
Okay, let me see. I'm fixing a teddy bear apparently. I'm fixing a fat, heavy. All the weight is in his ass.
No, it's all through the whole body. But see, there's just tacking stitches. I just don't want to mess it up.
No, it's not tacking stitches.
Don't rip it. You gotta take
I'm not ripping it. I'm feeling my way through it. Okay, everybody's saying happy anniversary.
Thanks, guys.
It is.
Feels like a tacking stitch, right?
No.
It looks like there's a couple when I look at it. Yeah, I can see them.
Then cut them.
I was gonna use a stitch ripper.
Yeah, well, you're not going to use a stitch ripper, just not right this second. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it right this second. I can feel it's a polyester. I can feel where they put the knot. And if I can cut it, then I should just be able to get the rest of it. You got to get it before you can start cutting things, you have to loosen things. And I feel. Got it.
See, I know you'd do better than. Oh my God. Oh, it's so much better with the loose ears.
There we go. Do you want both ears loose or just one?
No, both of them. Are you kidding? I need to be able to pet the ears.
I'm doing ear surgery on a teddy bear.
It's
anyway,
a teddy dog.
Back to the babble, though. I mean, the reality is that I've got a lot of little shit. But like that thing with my brother-in-law, that was like over 20 years ago. And my kids, my mother and her bullshit, her favoritism and all that stuff was the kids were noticing. So my relationship with her had a very clear end date because one of the things is like, I'll put up with this because that's fine. Because you do, right? I'll put up with this for the sake of family. I'll put up with that for a while.
You did it.
But the instant she ever pulls anything on my kids, that's going to be the end of things. So when that thing happened with Pete and my mom was like, well, your kids deserved it. I'm like, oh, I guess we don't have a relationship anymore. I was still willing to be polite in case there was family, larger family gatherings, which there weren't anymore. Everybody was just too old for that. So anything else? Does he need his armpits shaved? I don't know.
Is that a service you offer?
No.
Well, you're looking up his butthole, so.
No, do you want this off?
No, it's fine. That part's fine.
Okay. Catch.
Oh.
Anyway. No, he had his, poor Moira, you're showing up just as I'm saying goodbye. No, it's had its ears sewn down.
And I wanted them floppy.
What's its name?
Charlie.
His name's Charlie. But anyway, no, I don't know how to describe it because it sounds like a lot because you only talk about it when you've got family drama shit going on. You only talk about it. Ooh, I have my own Merce now because every time I have extra stuff to carry, it's like I feel like I'm just waddling with all this shit in my pocket. So now if I have other stuff going on, I can carry it. But no, it's like. But if we were to sit down and compare notes, Lisa's family drama is infinitely more toxic than anything I went through. Mine just, like I said, mine is like I am so over it that I don't give a shit about talking about. Oh, what if one of your family sees it? Yeah, fuck them. I have not been in contact with anybody in my family in a very long time. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting my purse ready. I don't think I'm going to take it tonight. Lisa needs 5 minutes to get ready. I need 30 seconds. So family drama. Well, no, Jenny was saying it seems like I've been through a lot. And as I was saying, yeah, I've got some, there's definitely baggage from my past, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not nearly as bad. The worst of it happened over 20 years ago. And I am so much better, right? Like I said, finding out my dad was not my dad, that was just information at this point. It's information. It doesn't change anything. But anyway, I do have to say goodbye because it is our wedding anniversary today, and we're going out for dinner. I was hoping to get that one done. I'm going to have to actually pay attention to the time now, though, because Bruno was so reliable. By 4:30, anywhere between 4 and 4:30, he was up here on the tables, blah, 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 blah. And that's not going to be happening anymore. So I don't know what I think about this, but I basically, sometimes when we're going out, I'm carrying, if I'm carrying just keys and wallet, it's fine. But if I'm carrying anything else, then I'm super screwed. And I almost lost my phone last week because I had to toss it into a pocket that didn't zip. 20 years as of today. Today is our actual anniversary day. So 20 years. Yeah, we went out over the weekend just in case we didn't feel like going out tonight. Because, you know, the emotions have been kind of a little bit flexible. Not in any serious way, but in a let's not force things so that we start feeling like it's a serious way. But yeah, so we are going to go out tonight. If life will be moving on and we are fine. Anyway, yeah, I have my own. Maybe you and Mirth. It's not a purse. It's a shoulder. It's a what is that? It's the men's version of a purse. Anyway, I hate purses. Anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I'm gonna get going, and we will talk soon. And I just took my glasses off, so I can't see a fucking thing. Everything gets really. I'm farsighted, so I can see from back here. But once I get closer, I can't see nothing. Yeah, man. I have a merce. I don't know what to call it when you're queer. Is it now a quirse? I don't know. A lesbers. There are so many words that could sound so bad. I'm going to have to pick one that doesn't sound too offensive to even me. Anyway, have a great week, guys. See you soon. Bye.